Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today is the same day that I filmed the last video. And the last video I did was planting the seeds for my winter indoor garden. Now, growing an indoor garden is a lot easier than you would think. There are so many things that you can grow indoors that are edible. In the last video, I showed you my chard, my chiji-misai, kale. We planted seeds for tomatoes and peppers. Lettuce is a good one, easy one to grow, and there's many different ways to grow them. I grow them in two different ways. I grow them hydroponically and in pots. Now there are issues with either way, but they're easy to overcome. Now the issues with the pots is getting enough light. Now you can purchase grow lights, you can find a south window that's a sunny window. Now there are different ways to get enough light to grow plants. There are cheap grow lights. My daughter's in an apartment and she has some cheap grow lights and is growing all sorts of stuff. She's growing tomatoes, she's growing flowers, she's growing spinach right now also. You can grow indoors and produce food with very little output. Now another way to grow food is through hydroponics. And I have a couple of units here on the side. My camera's not wide enough, it's a cheap camera, but it's not wide enough to show you exactly what they look like. So let me get on the other side of the camera and show you each of my units. So here's the first unit. This one is an arrow garden, and the arrow garden is kind of the most well-known of the indoor hydroponic units. You can make your own hydroponic units if you would like, and there's varying costs, and there's varying prices and sizes for the ones that you can purchase that are ready-made. This is, I think, the Arrow Garden Basic. It's just a smaller unit. You can grow. It has 6 holes. These are holes to grow plants in also. But I'm going to grow tomatoes in here, and it's better to just grow 2 of them. So these are the pods that you can get. They have coconut coir inside. I'm going to need to soak these for a little while to get them to, ready to put seeds in them. But what you do is you put water in the tank, seeds in the pods, turn on the light, and then you let the seeds start growing. Once the seeds have grown a little bit, then you can add the nutrients. There's specific Arrow Garden nutrients, and then there's other nutrients that are made for hydroponic units that are not specific to Arrow Garden that you can use. So there's just a wide range of units that you can use. This is a little cheaper unit. This is called a Devo. And there are 9 areas where you can put plants in. I grew herbs and flowers in this last year, and I've really liked it. It's got a little bit larger tank than the Arrow Garden over here, but it works basically the same. They have pumps inside the tanks, they have the lights, and you just add nutrients and it works. Now there are also people who find cheaper ways to grow plants hydroponically, and they'll just build their own units. So you can go online and look up hydroponics, and you can get sucked down the same rabbit hole that I've got sucked down and find the method that works best for you. But in my grow room, I use the 2 different methods. I grow in pots and I grow hydroponically, and I'm able to produce quite a bit of food inside my grow room here. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to plant up these units, and in this unit right here, I'm going to plant some more cherry tomatoes. Now I have some that are going to be growing in pots, but I wanted some in the Arrow Garden also. And we're going to try a new variety. This is the Canary Micro Tomato. I haven't tried this one before, so we'll see how well this does. In this unit right here, we're going to grow 6 plants. You don't want to stuff it completely full unless you do something small like radishes, but we're going to do 6. We're going to grow some Thai basil, some purple Ruffles basil, and some spinach. Now the spinach is a little difficult. It's really hard to get for me to get spinach to germinate. So I think what I'm going to do is try a method that I've seen somebody online do, and that's a paper towel method. And let's get that started right now. Now if I were growing spinach in pots, I would just put several seeds in the pot and then see which ones germinated. But in the hydroponic units, you really should only put a couple of seeds in each cell, and if neither one of those seeds germinates, then you're that much further behind. So what you do is you take wet paper towels, lay several seeds out on the paper towels, fold them over, stick them in a plastic bag, and then check them every few days. And when you see seeds that have started to sprout, Then you could take the coconut coir media out of the pod, slit it with a knife or with some scissors, and slide that seedling in there, and then you can grow that in your hydroponic unit. So what we're going to do is, I have a wet paper towel here, and let me get you closer so you can see what I'm doing. So we have a wet paper towel here. We've got our seeds. What we're going to do is we're going to take a few of the seeds, scatter them on the paper towel. That's probably way too many, but I've had a hard time with germination with spinach seeds. Whatever sprouts we'll let grow. And then we're just going to fold these in so that they stay moist. Have good contact with the paper towel. Stick them in the plastic bag, and then we'll put them somewhere warm. Now, this grow room is really warm. It's got a lot of lights in it, and I'll just probably stick it on one of my racks that doesn't get a lot of light, and where it will be out of the draft of the fan, because the fan is usually going during the day. So once these have started sprouting, we'll be back and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I'm back. Life kind of got in the way. When I started this video, it was Monday, and now it is Friday. So I'm going to show you what I did with the spinach seeds, because we've gotten several of them into the pods, but I'm ready to put another one in the pod. So let me show you what we did, and I'll kind of explain how it works and show you what we do. So these are the spinach seeds that I started on Monday. What I did is I wrapped them in a paper towel, put them in this plastic bag, and I actually had them on that shelf right there with the lights on. The lights interfere with the filming, so I had to turn the lights off, but the lights are on. And it's pretty warm in this room. It's in the 80s in here. And as you can see, we've got a lot of little spinach seedlings in here. We've got a couple of the spinach seedlings that have sprouted. Now these are number 3 and number 4 that have sprouted, and that's all I'm going to put in the hydroponic units. Let me show you what the hydroponic unit looks like. This is my hydroponic unit. I've got it all plugged in. The light is on. It's got water in the tank, and we'll show you the other unit what it looks like. And right here we have the first spinach that sprouted, and I don't know if you can see in there, but we have the second seed. We can have the second seed that sprouted. Now let me show you how I get them into the pods after they sprout. Now inserting the seeds inside the media is really easy. The first thing that I'm going to do is take off the foil. Now the foil is just a homemade cover for this pod. You need a cover on it so the light does not touch any part of the inside of the hydroponics unit, otherwise you start getting algae. So you need a cover on top of each one of your pods. So I'll take the foil off. Now you can see what the media looks like. You can just slide this right out, and there's a hole in the center. So it's really easy just to take a pair of scissors and make a slit in it. Now the slit closes up really easily, so you now have an area where you can insert a growing plant. Now very carefully take this little tiny spinach seedling and insert it so that the roots are growing into the media, and the green part is out of the media. So there it's inserted really nicely, and we're going to put it back in this little cage. And then we're going to put the foil on top. Then we're going to put a slit in the foil so that the plant can grow through it, but the light can't get into the media. So there we have it. I'll stick this in the hydroponics unit, but we're going to wait another day until the next seedling gets a little bit bigger and a little bit more developed. Now the next thing that we're going to do is plant our basil seeds. Planting seeds inside a hydroponic unit is extremely easy. You just poke a hole in your cover if you have a cover that doesn't have a hole in it. Or you can use pods like from the Aero Garden that already have covers on them. And those have holes in them, so you can just plant into those holes. So the first seed that I'm going to plant is the Purple Ruffles basil. I think these are gorgeous and love these. Now these seeds are really tiny. I don't know if you can see them, but we're only going to plant 3 to 4 of them in here and then thin them out as they grow. So there's only one seedling growing in the unit. Those are planted, and now we're going to plant the Thai basil. And the same thing, we're going to plant 3 in there and then thin it out to 1. Then I'm just going to go stick these back in the unit and put the plastic covering over the top. Now before I plant the micro dwarf tomatoes, I wanted to show you what the inside of my Aero Garden unit looks like. It's kind of interesting, so let me show you what that looks like. So this is my Aero Garden unit. It's got a light, and this telescopes up to about 18 inches. This is one of the taller units, so you can grow pretty tall plants in here. It has buttons on it. It has power button, and then it has buttons that show you when you need to add nutrients and water. This right here is where you add the nutrients and water. These covers here are to eliminate light going into the holes that you're not using, because as I said before, unless you're growing something small like radishes, you should only grow a couple of plants, 2 or 3 plants, just depending on the size. When you grow tomatoes, you should only grow 2 of them, and I'm going to grow them in the 2 front ones, but we're going to start them in the 2 center ones until the tomatoes get growing. Now, one interesting feature about the Aero Garden units is they do have a pump, and my other unit has a pump, but the Aero Garden units will actually pump water through these little holes right here over your pod. And the pump's purpose is just basically to keep the water oxygenated. So this one is, it's just got that interesting feature, and I really haven't noticed a difference between how the plants in this unit grows and how the plants in the Devo unit grow. So I don't know if this is a huge help, but it's just an interesting feature. This right here is a trellis. It's a little bit unwieldy because it just snaps on and off, but this trellis helps hold up the taller plants, and I like using it with the tomatoes. So let's get the trellis off and show you what the inside looks like. Now before I take this top off, I just wanted to show you, make sure, the unit comes with these little plastic plugs. You want to make sure to keep these holes plugged if you're not using the unit, because these holes actually do go all the way through and will let light in. Then you can get algae. So to take the top of this unit off, it's really easy. You just snap it off, and there we have the water in it. Now the water, each unit has a water level that shows you where you should keep it filled to. This is the pump right here, and this is where it attaches to the top of the unit, right in here, to pump the water through and over the pods. So it's quite simple, but it grows plants beautifully. So let's put this all together and then plant our micro dwarf tomatoes. Now it's time to plant my micro dwarf tomatoes. Now these are the Canary micro dwarf tomatoes. I haven't tried these before. It's going to be fun to see how they turn out. But they're going to be planted the exact same way as the basil. So first we're going to put 2 seeds in the pod, then we're just going to put them into my Aero Garden. This is what the seeds look like. We're just going to put 2 in each pod just to guarantee germination, and then we'll see how long it takes for them to germinate. So the seeds are in the pods now. We're going to put these in the AeroGarden, plug the AeroGarden in, and then see how long it takes them to germinate. So I would love to hear what you're growing indoors, and if you use hydroponic units. And if you have hydroponic units, which units do you use? What way do you like to grow? Because I think growing hydroponically is a lot of fun. I do like the AeroGarden, and I do like my Devo. Those are the only two that I've used so far though. So I would love to hear your thoughts and if you have any tips or tricks. Now, if my videos have been helpful for you, I hope you like, subscribe, share them with your friends, join me for my next videos, and have a wonderful garden adventure.